Matthew 25 expands upon what we started to read in chapter 24, and Jesus is going to tell a few parables here about being ready for the end. He says in verse 1, "Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 bridesmaids who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom." Now, as you read on, you'll see 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. And what that means is that the wise ones were ready for him, the foolish ones were not ready. So the moral of the story, verse 13, "So you too must keep watch, for you do not know the day or hour of my return." And then a second parable, the parable of the 3 servants. Again, the kingdom of heaven can be illustrated by the story of a man going on a long trip. He called together his servants and entrusted his money to them while he was gone. So he gave 5 bags of silver to one and 2 to another and 1 to the last. And the point isn't so much about how much silver he gave to each one. The point is what they did with that silver. Some of them invested, and one of them did not invest. He just buried the talent. And here's a moral of the story, verse 29. "To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away." Now, pay attention to this if you're a follower of Jesus, if you're a Christian, because remember, the context for all of this is sort of being ready for Jesus' return. And really, I think the most practical application of this, certainly this is what the disciples were hearing, was that we're supposed to be making disciples. So if you're a follower of Jesus, your maturity is not about how much you know, because none of this is about how much you know. None of these parables are about your wisdom or knowledge or study. It's about what you do, right? "From those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away." So the thing that is most important is that we're going out helping people pursue God, that we're making disciples with our life. That's the most important thing you can do in your life. So I hope you'd be encouraged to do that. If you've never done that, I'll put a link below to more on how to do that. And then the last one, "When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit upon his glorious throne, and all the nations will be gathered in his presence, and he will separate the people as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats." Now, this is a description of what we call the final judgment, that there's going to come a time when we're going to stand before God, and the sheep will be at his right hand, and the goats will be on his left. And so the sheep are the ones who have trusted in Jesus for salvation and are saved by grace through faith, and the goats are the ones that weren't ready for his return. So 2 questions for you. Number 1, are you ready? And number 2, are you making disciples and helping other people to be ready? And you can read some more, but here at the end of this, they said, verse 44, "Then they will reply, 'Lord, when did we ever see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and not help you?' And he will answer, 'I tell you the truth, when you refuse to help the least of my brothers and sisters, you were refusing to help me.' And they will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous will go into eternal life." Now, again, I'll let you read that for yourself so that you really understand the context for this. But remember, Matthew 25 is talking about getting ready for Jesus' return. And what he wants is people who aren't just Christians in word only, but he wants to see followers who are followers in word and in deed. So you're ready to read chapter 25? We'll see you tomorrow for chapter 26.